Oh,
Hi.
Yeah.
oh,
Hello.
oh! I can hear it through Lady's system. I was wondering why can't I hear audio? It's actually on Lady's side of the
Oh.
desk. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
What a joke.
Good morning, fam. Good evening. Actually,
Hello.
fuck, for Parabox, it's probably almost tomorrow. Welcome to episode 9, where this week is going to be a bumper show full of some news this week. Holy hell, have we found some stuff this week?
So much has happened in the last week.
Oh,
It's ridiculous.
I see. It's already
Right.
tomorrow for him. It's 1:22 a.m.
Yeah.
So what? Let's kick this off, Speed, with
The elephant in the room.
What?
Yeah.
Let's kick it off with the let's say the Amaranth ban for what, the 5th time this year.
That's hang on, that's far down on my list. Give me a second to find it. God knows. I think it's. Amaranth has been banned countless times over during her career on Twitch.
Well, Indie Fox was 6 this year. I think Amaranth's now 5 this year.
Amaranth wasn't only banned on Twitch; she was also banned on Instagram and TikTok.
So she got the full social ban.
We don't know what's happened with Amaranth.
Have we found our first Chatterbait streamer?
God knows. I mean, again, you can only stream 4 certain games over on.
No, you can actually do more.
Oh, they've updated the list now. Oh boy.
There was. I heard about this the other day through a Facebook post. I'll see if I can update it because it's actually got some pretty big games on it.
So Indie Fox also been banned recently over on Twitch. Same sort of content as Amaranth. Does like to push the point quite a lot.
They like to play in the gray area of terms of service.
Yeah, she was well involved with the hot tub meta, so that can give you an insight of what she was sort of into. She managed to get 2 million follows in a very short space of time. So Indie Fox was met with no less than 6 bans, seemingly as a result of the NSFW content that often pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable on the platform. Indie Fox has now moved on from Twitch and has found a home over on YouTube Gaming. I'd love to see how that hot tub meta is going to go over there.
It's going to be an interesting saga.
Apocalypse.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been interesting. Also, Destiny has also been banned from Twitch recently for sharing personal information.
What kind of personal information?
Unclear at this stage. But it said that from the viewers, they know what happened, but no specific information.
Well, because here's the thing.
Well,
if you're talking about
read one of the corporate emails.
Corporate email. Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say
from the leak that happened, which we'll cover on shortly, Destiny had read some of that information in the leak, and it had corporate emails in it, and that is what has produced the ban.
Okay, because
we're aware of this.
I was going to say if it was coming down to like personal information, then you might as well ban every iRacing streamer. Because every iRacing streamer has people's names all over the stream.
But what? That's
a corporate email address.
He gave out a corporate email, so it wasn't just a case of, hey, this is just some random email. He was like, hey, this is one of the CEOs. Here's a corporate email. Go
right. You leak the information at the top, which is a problem.
Yeah, he was a corporate email. So he gave out information that could potentially become harmful in the wrong hands. So
makes sense.
Also, on the topic of bans, if you've been interested in streaming Back for Blood lately,
Oh.
you may you may be in for a bit of strife. So Turtle Rock Studios has come out and said that be prepared for DMCA strikes on your content if you do stream Back for Blood, as the in-game music from the jukebox is licensed, but not
Yep.
in the way that you think it is.
That's right.
So it's not like a streaming license; it's more just a user license, essentially.
So if you stream it, turn your in-game music off.
Turn the music off. Yeah.
That's basically every game. Every game has that same license where they buy the license to use the music, but don't have the license to stream the music.
I mean, that's why every time I get a new game, before I fire up stream, I go into the options and go, is there music off?
Yeah.
You kind of have to, though. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, with the DMCA, the way the current rulings are, you kind of have to. You kind of have to make sure that none of your game sound or game audio really comes through.
Yeah.
But it's more critical in the VODs because they can bounce through the VODs and check it out. They can see it's, and now that they've highlighted, hey, Back for Blood, they've physically given. Banjacks. But yeah, you know what I'm saying is, they just go through the VODs and now they know what they're looking for. They can physically just go to that category and just search through it. And, look, I mean, that's just dumb in itself for its own purposes, but to openly admit that, hey, yeah, we've done it, and
well, I mean, they gave fair
Parabox,
warning prior
it's
to the
speeds
game's
connection, dude.
It's actually OBS. OBS just disconnected completely.
OBS is shit to bed.
But Turtle Rock Studios came out and gave everyone fair warning prior to the release on the 12th that is what's going to happen if you proceed to listen to the music that's in game. They also came out and because obviously there was a lot of backlash from that, they came back and said that they have confirmed that they are working on a streamer
just a heads up, we're
mode.
no longer live as well.
Yeah, recording's still going.
It's reconnected, so I don't know what's.
You may need to force reconnect it because it's. Let's refresh the page.
Yeah.
I just did a refresh. It's still offline.
Yeah, it's off still.
Yeah, they're working on a streamer safe mode. So I mean, it's something. At least they've recognized that it's going to cause issues.
But I mean, do we accept that as streamers, as people knowing that this has been around for ever and a day, and they could have set this up properly in the build to start with? Like, I mean, leaving it now and saying, hey, you play our game, but you're going to get DMCA strike. But hey, we're working on something that'll come later. Like, DMCA isn't new. Honest. Yeah, but DMCA is not new. Why couldn't they put something into the build to cover that bullshit to save the issues?
That could have quite easily just been production time. That could have just been a time constraint where they couldn't have that.
Do you think this is ever going to burst the bubble where game studios are just no longer going to license music and just create their own stuff for their games?
100%.
I hope they do. I honestly hope they do because it's going to make a world of difference.
Because then streamers will no longer get DMCA'd for playing their games, and then the music studios are no longer making money, which is going to force them to maybe rethink the DMCA ruling.
Maybe.
The problem being, though, in that situation, is then the gaming company still falls under the DMCA ruling because it's created content. So the streamer still doesn't have permission to stream that content. So DMCA can still be involved in that situation. It's not DMCA is not just a selective thing. It's there all the time, and live stream's gone again.
And the only way around that is for these developers to have a streaming license for the music that's in the games. And if they get that, that's a lot of money. That's going to add on to the cost of the game, and everyone's
Yep.
going to crack shits for paying like an extra $10 per copy of the game,
Mm-hmm.
even though it literally covers everything.
The problem being is it needs to be written that, if the music is used within game, that it is licensed to the studio, not, like the copyright license then basically becomes basically non-existent because it's not then signified or singled out to the one brand. It's now listed in a game, which that game then has worldwide appeal. They have to change something about the way that's written. And the way that law was written back in like 1994 or 95, it's so outdated that, it just doesn't cover today's society. Like that, it was originally written up for, your peer-to-peer sharing and copying of the music and handing out discs and shit like that. Whereas
So
today,
basically, like
we're
when
not
Matt
sharing the
posted
music
it,
for them to download the music. We're not actually, I'm not streaming, a song for you guys to come to my channel and download it. I'm streaming music as entertainment. So, in a lot of ways, the DMCA ruling is actually kind of ass about with care because it doesn't make any sense to the current climate of the DMCA or the copyright infringements because we're not actually copying the music. We're just we're broadcasting it, so we're bringing awareness to it, but we're not actually copying it. So, again, it's one of these
a
tricky
really
situations where it's got to be looked at pretty hard and rewritten.
it's a really big gray area, and
Oh, it's massive, yeah.
it's not going to be solved anytime soon.
No.
But on to the big Twitch news. If you've been living under a rock lately, where have you been?
It's probably safer to be under there at this point in time.
It actually would be. Like if you never stepped foot on the internet, that's the safest place you could be right now. So, an anonymous hacker has claimed to have leaked the entirety of Twitch, including its source code and user payout information.
Yep.
The user posted 125 gigabyte torrent file to 4chan on Wednesday, stating that the leak was intended to foster more disruption and competition in the online video streaming space because their community is a disgusting, toxic cesspool.
Yep.
100%. That's a fair call. That's a fair call.
That's what we've been touching on for the last 3 weeks.
Longer than that, but it's an extreme method, but it's definitely going. I mean, if that gets pushed across, then it's worked out perfectly.
I mean, there's source codes. Yeah, okay, who cares? I mean, that's the AWS system. Anyone can really buy it anyway. But as for the release of the actual data behind it all and what goes on, and I think there was even probably
payout information was probably the biggest one.
And I think further to that, there was another story in regards to a former exec of Twitch saying that they care more about dollars than they do the safety and that of their platform. So I guess in some ways, the whole release of this kind of highlights what we've been talking about is that there's a bigger issue and there's a bigger safety gate in there that they don't have shut.
So Twitch came out obviously and said, we can confirm a breach has taken place. Our teams are working with urgency to understand the extent of this. We will update the community as soon as additional information is available. Thank you for bearing with us.
What choice do you have? I mean, if that's your main streaming platform, what choice do you have? It's not like you can say, oh, well, for the next 2 weeks until you fix it, I'm going to go elsewhere. It's not a case of bearing with it. It's a case of you've been screwed. Like,
yeah.
So the information that was in the data package was apparently Twitch's source code with commit history going back to its early beginnings, which is quite big. Creator payout reports from 2009, from 2019 to present.
all right.
mobile, desktop, and console Twitch clients, proprietary SDKs and internal AWS services used by Twitch, uh, every other property that Twitch owns, including IGDB and CurseForge.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. An unreleased Steam competitor, codenamed Vapor, from Amazon Game Studios. Twitch internal red teaming tools designed to improve security by having staff pretend to be hackers.
Yeah. I mean,
Right. Okay.
I mean,
That's a bit ironic, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's apparently what was announced, and I think the biggest thing that came out of it was the Twitch payouts. I mean, that's a real eye opener.
I'd love
There
to see
are
that information.
a lot of streamers. You can find pictures of it of the files. There are a lot of streamers who have earned a significant amount of money, like millions of dollars, over the last couple of years.
And that's just from payouts from Twitch subs.
That's
That
just
doesn't
Twitch
count
payouts. Yeah.
donations or alternate sources of donating money and things like that. Like that's just the
Like
Twitch
their
subs.
brandings and stuff like that. Their
Yeah,
sponsors and
sponsorship
shit.
deals, merchandise. That doesn't include that. Like that's millions of dollars
Yeah,
from
at
just
all.
that
And even,
subs.
but like even those sponsorship deals, they're like hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's big money there, especially for the top
I
streamers.
mean, I'm just saying, if
Uh,
anyone wants to sponsor me, I will not turn it down.
right?
But I mean,
yeah.
that's probably the only thing in the information that sort of really tweaks me, and I'd love to sort of see, those kind of those figures, because you'd have to see where the input was coming from and where the output was going. Like, I'd love to see those two things, because I think there's a much bigger output than there is on an input.
Yeah,
I really do.
Uh,
And like, there'd have to be.
it said that the list shows 81 Twitch streamers that have been paid more than $1 million since August 2019.
Dude, that's fucking
I don't know
ridiculous,
if you
isn't it?
saw like a bunch of like the top level Twitch streamers were just calling each other by their ranking number for like the whole week.
Yeah.
Hello, number
And
75. This is
they were
1500 here.
screenshotting their own. They were screenshotting their own payouts, and they're like, "Yeah, sounds about right."
Yeah.
Like, what? It's like, come on. But it's also been stated that this is part one of the leak.
Yeah.
According
yeah.
to this anonymous leaker, there will be more information being leaked.
Oh, there has to
So
be.
if you haven't already and you have a Twitch account, change your password. Change it.
By all
Change it.
means,
Put 2FA on
change
it. Do something.
Yes, change it and put 2FA. Like back up, like
but,
change everything. So
Twitch did reset everyone's stream keys.
yes.
So that's something. But yes, definitely, if you do have a Twitch account, change your password, enable 2FA, do everything that you can to protect your account, or just delete it.
Same thing if you have CurseForge. I know, like me personally, I use it for managing WoW add-ons. So if you use it as an add-on manager, make sure you change that as well.
Now, it's not stated that passwords or usernames were leaked. If the intention was to address the toxicity of Twitch, then I very much doubt that usernames and passwords would be leaked.
They're gonna matter.
So I wouldn't say they may not be leaked, but whoever got in there probably has them.
Well, there was apparently some hashed passwords that was in the data pack. So just change your password.
Yeah,
simple.
Just to be safe, change your password. Even if they didn't get passwords, change it anyway, because someone got into that system. Change it.
Yeah.
See, I've had 2FA on my Twitch account for ages, so good
luck.
Oh,
me too.
Well done on that aspect.
Yeah, I know.
But
I was all over that myself. Yeah. So a cybersecurity expert had said on Wednesday that it has been the biggest leak he has ever seen.
Yep.
And stated, whatever Twitch was doing for application security, they need to redouble their efforts. Anyone can now run static analysis, interactive analysis, fuzzing, and any other application security testing tools. Twitch will need to push their application security to the next level, finding and fixing vulnerabilities before anyone else can find them. And they need to do that now.
Yes.
So my question on that though, someone did this on Wednesday. That's 4 days, 5 days ago. How many others have gone and done the same thing and just kept the information silent for now?
Yeah. Well, wasn't the hack done on Monday and then they released the information on Wednesday?
Yeah, it happened within a week. Yeah. But the big question is how in the hell did this person hack into Twitch, well, Amazon, and steal 125 gig of data without being noticed?
Because they don't have security.
But
it's simple.
Like, not a single person noticed until after the fact.
They didn't notice until after it was leaked. Yeah. That's the thing. Yes. So it shows that there's no security.
Bad. That's really bad.
Maybe they did notice, but they just didn't want to say something because they're like, "Oh fuck, what do we do?"
Yeah.
Maybe they just won't post it. Maybe it'll just go away. Maybe it'll just be okay.
If you get into Twitch and you steal 125 gig of data, you're not just going to walk away.
Yeah. That's essentially the Twitch meta, isn't it? We'll just sort of ignore it and hope that it sort of disappears.
We're too big for them to do anything about us anyway, because we're Twitch. Hi.
Yeah. So there was an informant from inside, from someone who had worked at Twitch. I don't know if they still do. I very much doubt it. But they had said that speed and profit was always valued over the safety of its users and security of its data.
Sounds about right.
No.
Yeah. You're kidding.
And they said that the attack seemed inevitable.
Yeah.
Based on the time working,
he can't handle it.
Yeah. Based on their time working at Twitch, alleging a company culture where employees were concerned about safety but management less so. There would be constant questions and discontent about the regular moderation failures.
Mm-hmm.
Noting the company would respond to issues raised very slowly, as if a feature wasn't generating revenue, then it wasn't valued as highly. That I would 100% believe that.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Twitch thing to do.
I mean, look at what we said last week, about boosting streams. Like they're talking about boosting streams, and yet they've been hacked with 125 gig of data stolen. Like, I mean, if that doesn't replicate what was said from that former executive or whatever, that this is what they care about.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can you say? Like, I mean, you can't keep painting a black picture and not getting anywhere with it. Like, it's going to keep happening until something changes. And I like we've spoken about, and we've spoken about on the show, is Twitch is too cemented in the platform. Like right now, it's too solid on its structure to be able to change anything in a heartbeat. And I think this is what we're seeing: is people are proving that there's far too many gaps in the system, and Twitch is self-imploding.
I mean, well, there's
cracks in the foundation.
The fucking back door is wide open. Clearly,
no lube needed. Back door's open.
Coming in the front door, and they've just left the back door open for anyone to just waltz on in and take whatever they like.
Yeah.
But this has been Twitch for an incredibly long time, and
they left the key under the welcome mat.
You're an idiot if you haven't noticed that Twitch is just money hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just absolutely money hungry. They will do anything they can to roll over a profit somehow.
I mean, I wouldn't say
ads.
Like, I wouldn't go to the nth degree of calling people an idiot, because again, a lot of people left Mixer, which was a bigger platform. They didn't want to risk a smaller platform, so they went with where they felt they were going to be there. Unfortunately, a year and a half, 2 years later, we're starting to see that Twitch is failing at its own institute, and they need to fix something.
But this is unfortunately what Twitch was doing back then. It's just become.
It's
just more
now that they've
shined on it now.
Yeah, well, now they've accepted 3/4 of the Mixer community. Now things are starting to come to light with how many things there are in the pipeline that are issues that should be worked on and should have been dealt with all that time ago. So again, I don't blame people for being on Twitch, and I don't kind of look at them any different. I just feel sorry for the ones that have come over there and are going to get screwed by this situation. It's the big guys, whatever, they can fuck off and make YouTube. They can go and do whatever on Facebook. They'll still make it there, but your medium to small end streamers are going to get absolutely screwed on this point.
Yep.
Like I know a lot of people over on the platform, and a lot of people have spent a extraordinarily large amount of time on the platform, and they've built their communities, and they're doing quite well for themselves. I don't want to see them get sucked into the black hole that is Twitch as it collapses in on itself. I've a couple of them I've given warning to, like just from my opinion. Seeing how destructive Twitch has become and how much it's starting to crumble, I'm like, look at your options. Try and get out.
Yeah, that's
Like,
exactly right. It's the same
your
thing.
Community, you need to move somewhere else.
Yeah. Look, I mean, that's probably the main point. I mean, if anyone is in the chat or anyone does watch the YouTube and you are on Twitch and you are looking at, what's going on from a clear perspective and you're not got that, Twitch blindfold on, now is the time to get out. Make a move. Go and rebrand if that's what it takes. Move yourself to another platform.
Come to Glimesh.
Give yourself the chance to actually create a proper...
Nice plug.
Yeah, you're welcome.
a proper community with safety. I mean, there's plenty of options out there,
Well, again, it's the fear of starting over. A lot of people
That's exactly right.
A lot of people have put years into streaming.
Yeah,
I've built so much, and to start over again, it's like it's too much of a risk for some reason. It's not really that much of a risk. It's sort of like clearing out the bad files out of the folder and just sort of tidying everything back up again. That's pretty much all it is. It's a good.
And I mean, look, they'll bring community. They'll bring people for sure. Like they'll have followers and loyals in their community. They'll bounce with them no matter where they go because they're loyal.
I mean, that's what it all means, really. Is the people who, like, it doesn't matter what you do, where you go. It's the people that will always be there.
That's right. Yeah.
Clearly they're the ones that give a shit about you. To everyone else, if they're like, oh, I don't want to move to a new platform because that's too hard. I don't want to make a second account. Stop being a little child about it.
Exactly. Yeah, stop whinging about it and just do it. Yeah.
It takes like 5 minutes to set up an account on a new platform. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why everyone sort of has a bitch about it. But anyway, so that's everything that's happened with Twitch, and it has been an absolute eye opener. I'm sure that more information will come out during this week as well. More information.
Stay tuned for next week.
Either more information
next week,
data leak or the next data leak that's going to happen. Who knows? But anyway, so on platform information, Facebook Gaming has now launched co-streaming, which is kind of interesting. They've jumped on the whole bandwagon. It's a lot like
what?
It's a lot like the co-streaming that Mixer had. So you do actually see the two streams on the one channel. But it's more, the main channel, I think, has I don't quite know how it works, but one video is a lot bigger than the other, or something. I think it's only 2 streams.
I think they're only a co-op stream. It's not up to a 4.
No, Mixers was obviously way better implemented. You could have up to 4 streamers on the one page, and you didn't have to do what you do on Twitch, where you had to essentially have like another URL for that co-streaming. It's just like you just hit co-streaming and magic happened.
Yeah,
that was probably the best thing that could ever happen. Hopefully that comes to Glimesh one day. Fingers crossed.
It's in the roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
It is in the roadmap for co-streaming.
Yeah.
But again, let's not say phase 3 Deceptors, because it could be, if it's discussed within the community and it is definitely something that the community feel that it's a much more advantageous thing to have, then, there's a good chance that we can fast track that and then push that, a little bit further for something that may not be as important. So that,
but
phase 3 could be good.
We may come to the end of phase 2 and phase 3 could change.
Exactly, yeah.
The needs for phase 3 could completely change.
Yeah, because once phase 2 is out, then we can look and be like, hey, what does the community want? And use things like, discussions on Discord or the Building Glimesh website, things like that. Say, hey, these are what people want. And, that's
but even if somebody can code it,
choice, but like
I can physically stand up now and say, if somebody could code that co-streaming into the platform right now, I am sure that Clone and the other devs would work hand in hand with that and get it on the platform.
Yeah.
So if you can code and you want to get in and do it, by all means, make it happen. Get in and code it. I mean, it's right there. I mean, this is what Glimesh is. It's community for community. So
yeah.
If you can do rating and hosting, go and code that shit and get it on. I mean, it's there. You don't need to wait until phase 3 or 4 or 5. If you can do that feature now, go and code it and bring it in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So obviously on the back step of Amazon having that data leak, they're also now facing backlash with New World. Surprise!
No, they're not facing backlash with New World. They're facing with the server transfer.
Well, it's still.
Don't give off bad news.
So they reversed the decision.
Lord's gonna get all defensive over New World.
Right, I mentioned New World now. I mean,
no, it's a fair statement, because in the first statement it was said that you could transfer between regions. Now they're saying you can't, and it was a misunderstanding. Which, I mean, let's be honest.
It was a misunderstanding that was worded so incorrectly that it gave the wrong
impression.
Impression about it. So they haven't really reversed their decision. It's just it was misunderstood in the first place.
That's right.
I would be getting in contact with their social team and being like, "What the fuck have you done?"
The funny point to that is this comes down to humanity and people being stupid. Because instead of saying, "Hey, I'm going to go to a lower pop server in my region," they went to a whole different region, went to a lower pop server over there, and then went, "Hey, I'm going to be able to transfer back." It's like, why not just stay in your own area?
That's what people thought, because this is what they were told, was that they would be able to move, their account over to a different server. So naturally, when you try to join your friends and you can't, and you're like, "Fuck, I'm just going to jump on a random server," they end up being like halfway around the world. You just did it because you wanted to play the game. But now they've come out and said we're not actually allowing the transfer of accounts yet.
No, you can just stay within. You can stay within the server. You can just move worlds. Basically, it's a world transfer, not a server transfer.
Yeah. So a lot of people have sort of cracked the shits because naturally they just jumped into whatever server was available, and now they can't move to their own region. I mean, look, eventually, yes. Unfortunately, you're stuck where you are for now.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I'm sure they'll look at it. They're not going to. It's not going to cost them shit all to let someone change servers. The problem is, you've got to make sure that the worlds that aren't full, and you're trying to push the boundaries of capacities and things like that. So
this is Amazon we're talking about. They're going to be like, "Oh, people want this. Let's charge money for it."
It's
no.
It's you want to change your account from this region to it's $10. Sorry,
$10.
There's nothing we can do about that. Yeah.
They have identified that as an issue though, and they are working and talking about it.
I think they're waiting for the servers to stop being on fire, and then they can address those problems.
Well, we did discuss it last week. They were looking into all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Migrating servers.
They're still talking of bringing the caps up on servers as well.
I've actually been able to play a little bit more because I don't have to wait as long to play the game, which is getting better.
Considering what the game's only 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
If that.
It's just going into its second week.
I mean, it's recovering pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Considering all the drama that was around it.
It's been a lot better with the queue system when they've started to like limit, we creating accounts on full servers. When they said no and blocked each server off, it's been a lot better with the queues because the queue sizes aren't thousands to get in. It's only the ones that have already got accounts on there, so they haven't been too bad, and it'll thin out a lot more. And if they bring up the caps a little bit, to say another 500, you probably won't have a queue at all on most servers.
Yeah.
So,
but on the topic of controversy, Rockstar, who is of no stranger to controversy,
yay!
They have officially announced GTA: The Trilogy, the definitive edition. It is actually a thing now, even though we knew about it a couple of weeks ago. But they've also announced that they will be removing all digital copies of GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas very shortly. So there's just going to be this time period where you won't be able to get any of those games. And then only the trilogy will be available. So I don't know why they're doing that. That's just a blatant money grab. Again, like I swear, Rockstar and Twitch are like bed buddies at this stage.
I mean, in some ways, it does make sense if they're adding, content. If they're upgrading content, yes, it makes sense to pull the old ones and then make the new ones the only ones available.
I mean,
I'm probably gonna wind up getting it anyway because like I only played like the Vice City like a little bit. I never actually played those games, just kind of like dabbled with them. So it would be like for me, I'm looking forward to getting a chance to actually sit down and play those games with the remaster.
Yeah,
I would love to be able to play them again. I remember playing all 3 of those, and just to see what they've done to remaster them.
Yeah,
I'm just getting tired of remasters and remakes, and it's almost like we've lost creativity, like we've lost concepts and ideas, and we're just trying to push old agendas.
But some of the greatest games that ever came out were some of the old games.
Yes.
we can't. It was sort of like magic in a bottle. It's like you hit that one title where it's just amazing, and you just can't recreate that again.
But I mean, how long is it going to be? Like, okay, I've got kids. So how long is it going to be before they fucking telling their kids, or they're sitting down doing a podcast saying, "Hey, GTA 5 remake"? Is like, come on, like surely we can't continue down this market of just remaking fucking games.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what like GTA 5's 8 years old now.
Well, I think a lot of
it's going to get to about 15 years old, and it's going to be a remake. It's like, come on now.
Well, I think a lot of it is trying to bring the old classics from like an analog era to a digital era. If that makes sense, because a lot of your old games are stuck on like cartridges or discs, and you don't really have ways to play them on the newer consoles. So in a way, it's like taking, hey, let's bring your nostalgia back so you can play this game and even share it with a lot of the gamers that played those games back then have children now. So it's like, hey, you used to play this game as a child, so now your child can now play it in their childhood. And it's kind of a way of like bringing the past up and still having that as an option. I like, occasional remasters alongside new releases, but if you're going the route like Rockstar is, where all they're doing is re-releasing GTA 5, it's like, okay, stop and do something different, which I guess they're doing with this remastered trilogy because it's different, but it's also like, stop doing this.
I just think like the last 12 to 18 months, we've just seen remake after remake after remake after remake. It's
and movies were like that too.
Old news now.
Take the Diablo 2 remaster. That is actually fitting. Like that actually works because that game's what 2021.
You know,
Yeah.
It was 1990 or something, or not even,
Yeah.
might have been older than that. It might have been a 25-year-old game.
Diablo
But
2.
you can actually, while you're playing the game, you can hit a hotkey, and change it back to the old game. You know, it
Diablo
runs
2 was
in the background. So
2000.
That
yeah,
was
so
like
21 years old.
Halo, the Master Chief Collection. You were able
Yeah.
to do that. You were able to sort of hot swap between, you know,
The
the
old,
original graphics and the
the
remastered
newer.
graphics.
Yeah.
Which is cool, you know, because if you're an old fan of the game and you just want a nostalgia hit, like that's a great thing.
Yeah, a remake like that. I mean, that's well and good, but you know, you want to have more
Well,
creativity and more new concepts coming out rather than consistent remakes all the time.
if we're looking at like a 15 to 20-year window to, you know, bring a game back and remaster it, the GTA trilogy actually falls in. I just looked up the dates. GTA 3 came out in 2001. Vice City was 2002, and San Andreas was 2004. So they're right in that window of 15 to 20 years to,
Yeah.
hey, let's, you know, remaster this, give it a fresh look, and,
Yeah.
you know, modernize it for the modern consoles.
Yeah, it's sort of it's a weird area where depending on the game, it is actually accepted. But if we're like remastering a game that's only 5 years old for a new generation of hardware, that's
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
like
questionable. But
why?
like these
Yeah.
games, they're in that 15 to 20-year window where it's like, okay, let's bring them up to the modern era because eventually they're going to be
Yeah.
just left behind. You're not going to be able to play them as the technology develops to read those older games.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But on GTA, rumors are now circulating that GTA 6 is launching in 2025.
So we're gonna have
That's
GTA
enough.
5 for another
Hey,
what?
that's enough time
4
for
years?
at least 3 more
But-
GTA 5 remasters.
I was gonna say.
All right, but you've got GTA 5 expanded and enhanced launching now early next year because it was delayed. So you know what? That's 2022. You get 3 years out of that. I mean, that's
But hold
it's
on.
supposed to be like, but there's supposed to be new content and that in that version of the game.
Yeah, but hang on.
So
You just said before that GTA 5 is already 8 years old.
yes,
Next year's going to be 9. We're going to have another
Yeah, well-
3 years. That's going to make it 12. We're going to be ready for a GTA 5 remaster like only a couple of years after that.
Yeah.
look,
I mean, we're talking 15 years on a remake.
don't-
Like,
I don't know, but that's the rumor that's out is 2025. I mean, I've heard that date go from like 2022, 2023, 2024. I mean, it's just going up like every fucking year.
Only remaster I really, really, really want to see more than anything is an Armored Core reboot. Please give it to me. Armored Core remastered. Just do it. Just do it. It'd be so great.
I would like to see an Enslaved remaster.
actually, the one I'd
Enslaved,
like to
Journey to the West, I think it was called.
the one I'd like to see is probably one of the earlier, newer versions of a mill sim, and that's SOCOM. SOCOM would be an awesome remake if done in the right area.
Yeah.
Sarasota, yes, I agree, but this new expanded and enhanced version is for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles.
Yeah,
So
but we're also not talking about
specifically
modding
for
a
that, we're not
game
talking
either.
about
Like,
PC.
but we're talking like a general outright remake or dragging a game out for 15 years before you give us a new one.
Yeah, I've seen stuff about Armored Core 2, so it's like it's something that's like rumbling in the Armored Core community, but like they have yet to actually confirm anything. It's just kind of like hints and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's
Like,
right. Yeah.
From Software, please. Like I know they're focused on Elden Ring right now, but like don't forget the mecha shooters, please.
So it's also rumored that GTA 6 will have a Fortnite-like evolving map, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, it needs.
Well, we did talk about that, didn't we? We spoke about that a
Yeah.
few weeks ago on the show. So
I think if they can somehow blend single player with online, have that sort of kind of merged together, that would be kind of cool.
Mhm.
But maybe they won't. If it's going to be like an evolving map, they might just keep it separate again.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that would be a bad move. But on the topic of remakes, uh, Hideo Kojima is reportedly working on a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, uh, which is, I mean, cool. I mean, Metal Gear Solid's just, it's in that era, isn't it? Where it's
Yeah,
fine to
that's
remake that era.
If there's anyone we
Yeah,
shouldn't question on a remake, it's Hideo Kojima. Like,
right. Yeah. And also, there is another rumor that Hideo is also working on a Silent Hill game for PS5 again. I mean, it seems like every year that passes, Hideo Kojima is just working on a Silent Hill game.
yeah.
As much as I would love to see it come to fruition, I would love to see a brand new next gen Silent Hill game that really sort of pushes the boundary like PT did.
I've actually
That-
it dropped on Game Pass earlier this week. There's a game called Visage. I was playing it last week. It is so spooky and good. It reminded me a lot of like Amnesia and PT, just like combined together. It was
Isn't
super
that
creepy.
one that's a psychological thriller?
Yeah, so you're like wandering through this like creepy house, but then like the house is like changing. So you're like going through like the same areas, but it's like morphing and it's different like every time you go through there.
Right.
It's
That's
really
cool.
I really
Um,
enjoyed it. It got me a few times. I was
Tune into Speedstream later tonight to see Visage.
yeah.
yeah,
No,
no.
it's I definitely like I played it for like 2 hours and it was so good. Like I was like high strung, high tense like the whole time. It was fantastic. It was great.
No, I've had my go at horror games, psychological horror games, and
Yeah.
I
Do you ever play Layers of Fear?
I did. I played both of them,
Yeah.
and I mean, the first one I knew what was going to happen, so
Yeah.
it sort of took the edge off it. The second one, I had no idea what was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and there were
Mm.
moments in that where I'm like, nope, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
can't do it. I
Visage gave me that.
This is-
Visage gave me that same like. I don't want to go. I don't want to go that way. Like through the whole game, it was so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Play Visage.
So yeah,
Visage.
go do that. So in other news, Ubisoft is feeling the sting this week regards to Far Cry 6 and Ghost Recon Frontline. Not apparently living up to expectations.
Surprise, surprise.
Far Cry 6 has been stated it's a great game, but it's very predictable in terms of storyline. So
But it's got
As
it's
in
got
every Far Cry.
it's got the guy from the Mandalorian in it.
Look, the best the best part out of Far Cry 6 is the little wiener dog. I mean, sorry, that's the best thing out of that game.
No, I like the alligator.
Would each to their own. So and Ghost Recon Frontline apparently is just an absolute disaster.
It's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah.
If you
There's
read all reports
nothing-
and you understand the game,
Yeah.
like
it's very
outline,
copy-paste.
it's ugh.
Yeah, it's very copy paste, and there are no good things being said about that. But I mean, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. That's all you have to say. Well, it's
They
Ubisoft.
just know how to ruin a game, don't they?
If it's not them, it's EA.
Yeah. Or Activision.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's microtransaction central there. So we did touch on this topic a little a few weeks ago, where Microsoft was looking into acquiring some new studios.
They better stay away from Ubisoft.
It's now sort of been they're not going to. Sony, if you want to buy Ubisoft, go nuts and just have that exclusive. Don't care. So Microsoft are looking into Crystal Dynamics, IO Interactive, which I believe was one of the ones that we spoke about the other week, and Avalanche. They're all being trialed by Microsoft ahead of a potential purchase. So, for those who don't know, Crystal Dynamics is best known for the Tomb Raider reboot series
And Avengers.
and Marvel's Avengers. Yes, IO Interactive did Hitman,
Mm-hmm.
and Avalanche just launched Deathloop as a PlayStation exclusive. Wouldn't that be a
Well,
big
I
old
I
kick
did
in the
actually
pants?
see Avengers did just pop up on Game Pass this week, which I never thought it would actually show up there.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. It sure did,
it
yeah.
it did, but we're lacking characters
Yeah.
because they're contracted
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
the
that's
Game
right,
Pass
yeah.
version just has the base game. It doesn't have the DLC updates, right?
yeah.
That's right. It's only the base
Basically,
game, yeah.
it's yeah. There's certain characters that are licensed only on PlayStation that obviously people on Xbox can't have.
So
That's
you
just
probably don't have
silly.
Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and Black Panther then.
Uh, I don't know. I know you can't
Okay.
have Spider Man.
Well,
Spider Man.
Spider Man isn't even out yet.
Look,
So
we can't have Spider Man or Wolverine over on Xbox.
right.
That's
Well,
all I know.
I mean, Spider Man was gonna be a Sony exclusive to the Avengers game anyway, but like that's not even out yet. I like
Yeah.
Avengers. Okay,
Uh,
I have a Marvel Studios poster back
uh,
there. Look, it's the Iron
yeah.
Man gauntlet.
Um,
I like
I could
Avengers.
see.
Okay.
I could honestly see them acquiring all three of those. Um, especially Crystal Dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
can definitely see them acquiring that. If I had to put it in order, I would put it Crystal Dynamics, IO Interactive, and then Avalanche. I do know that Deathloop is coming to Xbox at some point
Mm-hmm.
in the future. There is no specific date as to when that's going to happen. Obviously, it's on PlayStation as a timed exclusive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we just have to wait. Uh, so yeah, more interesting stuff there.
I wouldn't be
Uh,
surprised to see Xbox grab all three of those studios, though.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually grabbed all three. And this goes on to the whole Xbox not having enough exclusive games. The whole Sony fanboy sort of argument that
Yeah.
has been going on
Yeah.
for years. Ha ha
Yeah.
ha! Jokes on you. They do now.
Yeah, Xbox has
Uh,
plenty of
and
exclusives.
and a lot of them.
Well, I
Yeah,
think the issue wasn't that Xbox didn't have exclusives; it's that they didn't have good ones.
No, there
yes,
was
but
there was
these
there was a
statements were coming from Sony fanboys,
Yeah.
where they can only get the games that they liked on PlayStation.
Right.
So
there
naturally,
was
they
a
were going to look at
time
Xbox and be like, can't get anything over there."
there was a time where Xbox did sort of sidestep away from just exclusives for
Right.
Xbox and just focus generally on the multiplayer and getting the community together, and that's what they kind of
Yeah.
focus on for a while there.
But they've
Now
kind
they've
of
already
gone
got that
back.
fundamentals. Now they're starting to bring the exclusives back, which is fantastic because I
Mm.
know within the Microsoft range they'll have more studios and we'll have X amount for PC and Xbox
Well, and not
as
only that,
exclusives.
but
So
not only are they bringing exclusives in, they're also pushing crossplay as well for a lot of
yeah,
their games with
and
owning,
Sony's still
a
cockblock a
PC.
lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft were working on accessibility for gaming for everyone. That was their
Mm-hmm.
main
That's
priority
right.
for a long time. It was all about the gamers, all about even though PlayStation's motto was like for the gamers, it wasn't. uh, so Xbox was working on, working with gamers, for gamers. There's
Yeah,
any
that's right.
accessibility things they could do. They focused hard on that, and I think they came out on top. Honestly, when it
I think
comes
so.
to
Yeah, I think
when
they
it comes
nailed
to
it.
all of that, yeah. Now they've got that sort of cemented in the ground. They've started to move on to, acquiring or
Exclusives.
exclusives a lot faster than usual because it was sort of happening in the background. It was sort of like a side project, and now it's been more forefront.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
now
will see,
been brought to the front more, which is great.
we will see more of that as time goes on. And on the topic of Sony copying Xbox's work, uh, a new leak has suggested that Sony is working on allowing users to stream their PS5 games to their console as a part of PS Now. A new patent dubbed ultra high speed, low latency network storage has apparently been filed by Sony. it will allow you to essentially stream your PS5 games, just like Xbox Game Cloud, I believe it's called. Something like
XCloud or whatever.
that. Yeah, I don't. I mess up the official name like all the fucking time. But yeah, it's going to be like that, and I'm going to read the notes that were on the patent. If you can follow along, congrats. If you can't, you're as bad as stupid as I am. So it's a non-volatile memory over fabric. Is used to stream video, computer games, and the like to client devices from network storage embodied by solid-state storage devices. To provide for redundancy, multiple copies of a single piece of content, example, a computer game or video file, are stored on multiple SSDs. To provide information to address the block level storage based on a client demand for the content, a data structure correlates each content with the SSDs and related block numbers at which the content is stored. Sourcing of the content as it is being streamed may be dynamically switched between SSDs to provide a load balancing or loss of an SSD. If you understood any of that, congrats.
Makes perfect
I
sense.
I kind of get it. I kind of do. It would definitely make. So basically, data is spread across multiple SSDs. Obviously, and it would be like some sort of RAID configuration.
Yeah, it's a RAID.
I think
type
it's
network.
very similar to how file sharing torrents work, where they've got all of the files stored on multiple drives, and it just kind of reaches out to which ones are sending the best speed for that file block that it's trying to get.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it is.
it sounds like a torrent type setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, that would eliminate a large bottleneck when it comes to, say, streaming a game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, because, you're reducing that gather of data.
It could also improve the speed of downloading the game.
Yeah, because if you have a delay and you're trying to pull it from
Yeah.
one source, but then like something bottlenecks that source from too many users trying to hit that one, then it's like, oh well, let me just go grab this one because nobody's grabbing over here, and then you start pulling the data from multiple sources, and suddenly, hey, look, instantaneous download because zip.
Yeah. Yeah. Faster downloads would be amazing. But I know that Xbox, their servers are essentially just Series X consoles on a board, and that's sort of how cloud gaming works. It's like one console sort of allocated out about. But yeah, it's a really weird setup, but that seems more for data transfer than just ridiculously fast data transfer, which I'm all for. Hopefully they open that patent up and everyone else can use it. That'd be cool.
Well, now that they've
Sony
listed it,
has-
it won't be hard for someone else to grab it anyway. It won't be hard for them to grab the same sort of technology.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. But also grabbing the same technology, Sony has announced Auto HDR tone mapping, which is basically Xbox's Auto HDR in a nutshell. But the catch is that you will only be able to use it on certain Bravia XR TVs, mainly the Sony Z9J, A90J, A80J, X95J, and X90J. They're pretty much like the brand new latest and greatest.
Yeah. Here's a feature that you have to use our TV for.
Pretty much, yeah. But like Auto HDR works on any HDR monitor TV. Like it works. Also, Xbox is the only one to have Dolby Vision. PS5 doesn't have Dolby Vision yet, and there's no word on when that's coming out. Sony's also stated that it will be available by the end of this year. That's for the Auto HDR tone mapping. So that'll be interesting. Obviously, only a certain amount of people are going to be able to use that. I would love to be able to play in HDR. I think it would be great. But yeah, it costs money. All right. We have Xbox news. Xbox has announced a brand new controller and headset to commemorate 20 years of gaming. Uh, the controller and headset have sort of darkened, transparent panels and the iconic Xbox green as accents. If you haven't seen them online, go and check them out. The controller itself looks pretty damn cool. I have to admit.
Once again,
I
was leaked before the official announcement.
Oh it was leaked by Xbox. That picture that I put in Discord, the darkened image, that was from Xbox. So they sort of teased it.
No. The actual announcement for the headset and controller was actually leaked a day before the official announcement.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's
like,
crazy. I mean, when are these companies going to learn? Like, if you're going to plan it, don't leave it in the system. Just get it out there.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be data
Um,
mined. You know, it's
but
going to happen.
I mean, but this isn't like sensitive information. This is
No.
actually good for the community. I myself am probably going to look into getting that controller. Uh, it is very, very cool looking controller. It is available for pre-order now, so if you wanted to go and get it, do go and check that out. Also on Xbox News, Seagate has announced a new 512 gigabyte storage expansion card, uh, along with a 1 terabyte SSD external game drive. Now, the 512 gig storage expansion card is actually going to be a good thing. I don't think it's enough. I don't think
No.
it's big
No,
enough.
it's
But
nowhere near enough.
a lot of people were complaining about the price of the 1 terabyte storage expansion. So the 512 will be um, very much accepted.
Especially if you have a Series S, which is downloadable games only, which means those are just going to take up a ton of space.
Like I've got the Series X, right? And even I've found that I'm running out of room.
Yeah. And the Series
Rapidly.
S has half the
Like,
space.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I've been tempted to get the 1 terabyte storage drive. Unfortunately, it is like 300 and something odd bucks, which is
Yeah. The price of a console.
wow. I
Yeah.
mean, no, half of a console over here.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean,
Okay.
it would be beneficial long term to buy that. So I don't know.
I mean, but like,
It's sort of
would
one
it
of
be
those
better to
use
just
case
buy another
scenarios.
console?
No,
No.
No.
Okay.
no, absolutely not. But like, I do like the 1 terabyte SSD external game drive. That I guarantee is going to be priced through the roof. I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure the 512 gig version that they have is like a few $100.
I wish they would make it so you could just
So,
plug in whatever external storage device you want into it.
The problem is,
You
though,
can.
because
Oh,
they're.
you can't. Okay.
you can, but in order for Xbox Series games to work at their full potential, they need to be on a
SSD.
basically the storage expansion card,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
essentially, because of the architectures, just how they've worked it.
You can take any drive and play your old Xbox One games from that drive,
Okay. Just
but you
not the
can't play
Series
the new
games.
series games
Okay.
on
Yeah.
from that drive because it just doesn't read it.
So, like,
Which is
even
shit.
if you had uh, a Gen 4 M.2 SSD that was like top of the line, and you had that somehow connected via one of the USB ports in the Series console, it wouldn't be able to store your Series games on that card, even though it meets the speed specifications.
Mhm.
Just how the architecture is done, it
That
would
sounds
just
very
treat that as
Apple-like.
kind of, yeah. I think we're going more back towards memory cards, basically, except for games.
I mean, like this.
Which
So
I think
I think that's what Xbox was sort of aiming for. It's like you could have this collection of storage expansion cards, and you just have fucking games on it, and you just hot swap
This right here
as
holds
much
8
as you like.
megabits of data.
8 megabytes of data, that is huge, man. Whoa.
Yates, that wouldn't even hold one
dumb.
gun out of Modern Warfare. Come on, man.
That is a
Fucking hell.
PS1 memory card. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I got a PS2 one here that's 32 megabits of memory.
But
Bloody
there's
hell.
nothing on pricing yet. I'm sure that the external game drive is going to be upwards of $500. I
Oh, for
guarantee
sure.
it.
Oh yeah.
The 512, I would guess somewhere around 200. I'm sure people are going to crack shits over that too. But I mean,
What's that
proprietary
price
hardware.
in USD for our US viewers?
Like the whole 512, it's not big enough. I mean, we were having 1 terabyte consoles 10 years ago. Like, we need to start seriously looking at our storage
I think
and why we.
they mainly did the 512 gig storage as an option for people who are complete tight asses and don't want to pay the money.
Okay, 200 Australian dollars is 146 USD. So there you go.
I mean, that's just an estimation. I would be sure it's probably higher than that.
Oh, it's gonna be high.
Because you guys say like 300, 200. I'm like, but that's like a console, but it's like it's really not because that's more than what it is. Here.
Yeah.
I get confused.
As I said, it's more Xbox going into that era of just having a games collection on storage cards,
memory cards.
Be like, oh yeah, I've got these games in that one. Just pop that in, away you go. I'm pretty sure that's the route they're going.
Which is kind of odd considering they just went down the route of having these like big drives made by Seagate, for like 8 terabyte external USB 3 drives and shit like that. They went down that route so you could mass store everything and play them all.
And now they're like, you can't use those.
And now they're going to try and restrict what you can put on it. It just doesn't seem.
But it's only for games that are Series S and Series X optimized. That's it. That's all that's for.
Yeah, but eventually we're going to be looking at more of that.
Yeah, a large portion of games.
Yeah, at a certain point, like more people are going to be playing their Series games versus their Xbox One games, and then it's going to be like, well, what's the point of this? I can't play my games. Especially when Sarasota says, like Call of Duty, that takes up like 150 gigabytes of space on it. Like that's like,
and then you double that up with Cold War.
Yeah.
You're looking at 500 gig worth of space just taken up from like 2 games. It's like,
yeah, you got 2 games taking up your entire base drive. Like, what do you do? Like, you just tell people you can't play those games?
Yeah, like essentially, what we'll sort of be heading towards is you'll buy a game, but then you'll have to buy storage, which is going to be So you could buy, say, 3 games. And you go and buy the 512 gig storage expansion, which
wasn't there a
same cost as those 3 games. So essentially, you're buying 6 games.
Wasn't there a Sony?
3 out of it. Was
there a Sony bundle for Battlefield? They were doing the game plus a storage drive or something. There was a bundle. Someone was was either Battlefield or Call of Duty, and it came with an actual drive.
PC.
That was PC. I don't remember seeing
was it
at all.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was a little while ago. It was not long after the announcement of one of the new games.
That doesn't surprise me though.
It was one of the promotions was actually the game plus a drive. In the bundle, so you got when you pre-ordered it, you got the thing for it, and I was like, that's. I mean, is that kind of the pathway we're going to be heading with games nowadays? With saying Xbox and PlayStation, where they're going with these cards. Is that what we're going to be?
We're going to go right back to.
You're going to pre-order the game and get a drive with it.
Yeah, you were going to go back to cartridges. Remember the old Nintendo games? But the cartridge.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be okay with cartridges. They worked just fine. Yeah. They were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be this is sort of like an option for people. But I think the main push is definitely going to be cloud streaming games. Xbox is definitely going to push that because I know storage is an issue, especially with series games, because they do require proprietary hardware. To get to a point where you could access the entire library of Xbox games that are available through the cloud.
Yeah. I think
sure
that's
one day
exactly
we'll
what they're
get
going
there.
to push.
Yeah. If they can get that latency down to like nearly nothing,
Yeah.
then yeah.
But maybe they need to talk to Glimesh. Get the Glimesh low latency.
I think everyone in the but the problem is not everyone in the world's going to be able to do it. Obviously, if you've got like crazy fast internet, like gigabit speeds, you're pretty set. I mean, you're not really going to see that much of a delay between input and gameplay. I myself am on a tenth of that speed, and I do see a noticeable delay, but it's doable, you know. So I guess yeah, fast speeds, lower latency.
xCloud's still a work in progress, and I think it'll be a
It is still in
constant
beta.
refinement as they get pushing it through. They'll start refining it a lot more.
Yeah, it is still in beta. But last week we were talking about New World, obviously, and the regards to the RTX 3090 having an insane power draw of like upwards of 500 watts peak, I think it was.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
525 or something.
yeah, there are rumors about the RTX 3090 Ti now have come to light with details around that. It's rumored to have a 450 watt TDP, which is 100 watts more than the 3090. Now, if it's got a TDP of 450 watts, I guarantee you it's going to hit 650, 700 peak.
Oh, easy. Oh, it'll peak at 700, yeah, for sure.
Easily. So unless, if you're going to get one, you best be sure you've got a 1200 watt power supply. Oh, damn. Because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
When you start talking RAM and CPU motherboard, yeah, you're going to need a big one.
Yeah.
It will apparently have 24 gigabytes of G6X memory with a memory clock of 21 gigabits per second, which is crazy.
That is.
But the biggest kicker is that it will have a all new 16-pin power connector.
That no one has.
Not using the all new 12-pin power connector that the RTX 3090 has. So, in the same generation of cards, they've produced two brand new power connectors. I stop, Nvidia. What are you doing?
Yes. Yeah, why?
Stop.
What are you doing? Exactly right. What are you doing?
I mean, what the Radeon 6700 XT has 3 6-pins, I believe, or 3 8-pins.
They're usually
No,
8-pin.
6 or 8. I can't remember, but it's got 3 of them. Nvidia decided to be smart asses and be like, well, fuck you, everyone else. We're going to make a brand. They pulled an Apple essentially and just went, we're just going to bring out a whole new connector just for the fun of it. But we don't recommend you use these other connection ways to plug it in. You're going to have to get this specific cable to do it. Like, they're going to do it again. Look, I don't know why, but it raises a bigger concern. I mean, there's already problems with the 3090 drawing immense amounts of power and, you know, popping solders and just creating an enormous amount of heat. You're about to outdo that with a 3090 Ti, which probably cost an arm and a leg and someone else's arm and a leg.
And firstborn.
Yeah, to get that card.
Yeah, I think the 30 series cards are just well out of the market at the moment.
But they just keep releasing them. They just keep bringing more out, and I know what I know why they're doing it. It's sort of to relieve the market for demand, sort of like all the chips that were sort of thrown aside because they didn't meet the quota for certain cards have been reutilized to go in other cards, like the TI cards or the super cards.
That'd be interesting, Sarasota. Take your kid to school and go, hey, welcome to RTX 3090 Ti.
Yeah. But like the RTX 3090 was already like the process was stringent. That there was no room for error when it came to those chips. What have they done to make a 3090 Ti?
Yeah, God knows.
They changed the number.
I mean, we'd be looking at like perfect dies, like no faults, like it just absolutely perfect. And I don't think they're going to be far and few between.
I don't think you can make it perfect because everything that relies on, wire and solder is still going to fail at some point with extreme heat.
Yes.
Now, unless you water cool those cards, which should be mandatory, you're just going to find that issue.
It's the dies that make the card. Like that's what specifies whether it's a 3070, a 3060, a 3090. How well that's been produced will determine which card it goes into. So,
I still
the 3090 was a high level, like very stringent process. They've now gone beyond that.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that Nvidia did with these cards is they put fans on them. In all intensive purposes, they should have instantly been water cooled cards. They should have been. It's the only way you're going to get rid of the heat fast enough out of those cards because they're just going to produce it too quick, and you're going to blow those capacitors and things like that. You're just going to destroy them.
Why couldn't they go with a blower fan? Blower fan is way more efficient in removing the heat from the card. Because you stick fan on top, like yes, on the higher end RTX cards, the rear fan does go all the way through. It does push all the way through via the heatsink. But still, you got that front fan which is pushing air up, and then it's going out. With the blower fan, it's sucking air in, going along the board, and going out the back of your PC. So
yeah, I just think they should have been water cooled from the start. Like it wouldn't have been hard for them to do an IO cooler like most CPUs have got.
Yeah, I mean, you get the EKG water blocks that are for the RTX cards, but I mean that's an extra expense, and you've got to pull apart your card, and if you fuck it up, you fucked it up, big time. And can you imagine the price though of a water cooled RTX 3090 Ti? The price would be phenomenal. You'd be looking at like 3,000 plus.
I mean, you're already looking at a stupid high price, and then you still don't get the proper cooling anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I honestly think Nvidia's just on a cash grab bonanza, at least for the last few years they have been, just because they can. But yeah, no, the card is now expected to be launched in January, alongside the RTX 3070 Ti and the RTX 2060 12 gig. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's that. And Windows 11 released this week. From what I've read, everyone's avoiding that shit like the plague.
Naturally, when a new Windows platform comes out.
Pretty much everything I've read is just do not upgrade to Windows 11 yet. Just wait.
Well, I can't anyway. As soon as I go to Windows 11, I've got a 25% decrease in my CPU abilities. So I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fix your shit.
There's already reports that it's not working well with AMD systems, where there is actually like I have a full AMD system, so
yeah, me too.
Probably be hit the hardest. Yeah, it's I'm not upgrading anytime soon. I know I've got a BIOS update that will allow me to upgrade to Windows 11. I am not doing it.
Nope.
It's like OBS. I mean, you really only update OBS if you want the new features or there's something wrong with your current version.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just leave it alone. It could be completely out of date. You just leave it alone because it works. But yeah. So that's the news this week. That's all of it. That's all I have.
Wow, we did it.
You missed the biggest game news, Speed.
Did I?
What are you doing?
No, I've actually missed.
Oh.
Sorry, I've missed several things which have fucking annoyed me this week. All right. So, firstly, we have Hot Wheels Unleashed, right? That that released this week.
How's that one?
To the exorbitant price of $70 Australian.
Oh my god.
Right. And that's not including the season pass, might I add, which is another like $40. I was really excited to get that because it was a racing game. I thought it would have been cool, but then I looked at the price and I nearly shat my pants. But then I did shit my pants when I found out that Peppa Pig was $60.
Wow.
$60 Australian. Yes, I was really banking on buying that because I thought, oh yeah, it's only going to be like $40 or something. Yeah, that's fine. I can handle that. Yeah, no, it's $60. It's almost a AAA title. It's ridiculous. it's yeah.
So you're getting Peppa Pig because you promised us Peppa Pig on stream.
The thing is, I have to buy it now. I promised everyone that I would stream it, so now I have to buy Peppa Pig for $60 fucking dollars.
It's gonna be fantastic. Gonna be fantastic.
I'm not happy about that.
I didn't even pay $60 for New World with the deluxe version.
Look, all I can say is that it better be a great game. There better be a lot of content in that game for it to be worth $60.
It better have the DLC for the Aussie Peppa Pig, I reckon.
Oh, that one that's on Facebook.
Yeah, it better have that content in there too, I reckon.
Honest, if that was in the game, absolutely, I'd pay for that DLC. 100%. Be hilarious.
Yikes! I'll have to tag you in some of the Aussie Peppa Pig that we have on Facebook.
Okay, thank you.
It is absolutely piss funny, hilarious.
It is fantastic.
Isn't that right, stepdad?
Peppa Pig. Yeah, I wish Peppa Pig was like that. Honestly, I would watch it.
I'll see if I can find one just to tag him in it.
It
so
belongs
on
Adult Swim or something.
It's hilarious.
So that's pretty much the weekend review.
It's a children's TV show.
What is
Peppa the Pig is it's a very small children's show. We say that in very loose terminology because there's a group on Facebook that have actually gotten a hold of it and turned it into a whole nother thing.
And it's fantastic. It honestly is.
Let me comment. Yikes! Let me know if you get that that tag on Facebook, bro. It is honestly, if you do not watch that and end up in side-splitting laughter with a puddle under your chair, then we need to have a conversation about comedy.
Yep, I got it. I'm gonna watch that later. Yep, I got it.
Yeah, you will.
Cool.
Wait till we finish the show and then watch it when we're in the after show because it is funny as shit, dude.
Yeah. So I will be buying my friend Peppa Pig. I will regrettably pay $60 for
Saw that come up on the Facebook feed by Major Nelson, and I looked at the price and went, "Oh, that's gotta sting."
Yeah,
and then you posted it and was like $60, and I was like, "Oh, that's gotta hurt."
Yeah.
Look, let's just go play Squid Game on Roblox, guys.
For it.
Have a big remaster.
I will stream it. It's due for release on this week, I think.
16th. I think it was.
Is it the 16th?
I think it was the 16th or the 10th. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will try and.
Are you going to stream 100% completion?
Yes. He will.
I'm dedicated now. Absolutely no. I've said that I'm going to play Peppa Pig.
Every achievement.
I'm going to 100% Peppa Pig. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. That's going to be coming soon. After I've damaged my bank account. But yeah, no, that's all I got for this week. a lot happened.
24/7 stream of Peppa the Pig. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we will have to wrap this up though. Be sure to tune in next week for possibly more Twitch saga news. That will be interesting. Also, an update on me buying Peppa Pig.
I'm looking
Can't
forward to
wait
that
for
one
that.
the most.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I really shouldn't, because I've spent like a couple of $100 already on Nintendo Wii and games and stuff. So I need to stop buying stuff.
Anyway,
Don't we all?
we'll say goodbye to YouTube at this point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, YouTube, for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody.
Yet another episode.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next week. Later, YouTube. Thank you so
Bye.
much.